Hello, this is Professor Neil Hamilton with the Drake University Agricultural Law Center with this week's episode of Our Water, Our Land. Iowa has a rich legacy of leadership when it comes to conservation of land, water, and wildlife. It's a legacy that we can draw on as we think about what we need to do today to protect these resources. Political leaders like Henry A. Wallace, the Secretary of Agriculture and also Vice President, who in many ways was the creator of the soil conservation programs of the 1930s, is one of those leaders. Perhaps Iowa's most famous conservation leader was Aldo Leopold, originally from Burlington, who's considered by many to be the real father of the modern ecology and environmental movement. His book, A Sand County Almanac, and his essay, The Land Ethic, continues to inspire countless numbers of landowners and others who are interested in how they can protect our resources. John Lacey, a congressman from Oskaloosa, is also one of Iowa's historic conservation leaders. Lacey is perhaps most well known for his work passing laws dealing with migratory bird protection. Lacey also authored the Antiquities Act, which is used by the president to create national monuments. For example, his friend, President Teddy Roosevelt, used this to provide the first protections to the Grand Canyon. The Antiquities Act has been in the news recently because of recent attempts by the administration to limit and reduce the size of a number of national monuments that were created by previous presidents. My favorite conservation leader is J.N. Ding Darling. Ding Darling was a famous cartoonist who worked for the Des Moines Register for decades and whose cartoons appeared on the front page in both the Des Moines Register and were syndicated in newspapers around the nation. He used his pen and his wit to provide commentary on current events of the day. He's perhaps most well known for his work dealing with conservation, wildlife protection, and dealing with the evils of deforestation and flooding. That's why we're here today in the Coles Library on the Drake University campus, because we currently have an exhibit underway about Ding Darling and his legacy, called Ding, We Knew Him When. The exhibit runs until the end of June, and it's a powerful demonstration of how his artwork and his other political commentary played an important role in the development of the nation's policies to protect natural resources. Darling spent a period of time in Washington, D.C. in the mid-1930s as the head of the U.S. Biological Survey, which is today the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Darling actually drew the very first duck stamp, a program that today has raised close to $1 billion for use to acquire habitat for breeding ducks and other migratory waterfowl. Ding's poignant drawings about the dangers of soil erosion, draining of wetlands, and destruction of wildlife habitat are as timely today as they were in the 1930s. We still lose millions of tons of soil each year from Iowa's farmland, and our water quality continues to deteriorate while most politicians simply look on. Many Iowans are working to protect our natural resources, but if Ding were here today, I think he'd be very concerned about what we've done to our soil and water, and he'd try to inspire us to do a better job. No doubt Ding would be using his pen and his wit to confront the powerful economic and political forces that are leading to the destruction of our natural resources and that are resisting efforts to try to generate the funds and public support to make improvements. Iowans can benefit from the lessons that Ding Darling shared decades ago, especially about the role that we all have to play if we're going to protect these important natural resources. If you happen to be in Des Moines, I'd encourage you to stop by Drake campus to visit the Ding Darling exhibition, which runs until the end of June in the Coles Library. This has been Professor Neil Hamilton for Our Water, Our Land, a production of the Drake University Agricultural Law Center.